Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dez, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
That's the Bible talking about. What's good, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. One of your hosts, I'm Dev McMillan. I'm at the round table with my brother. Got Jimmy the Blueprint in the building.
Yes, sir.
Will be back with us next week. Look, man, Jim, it's been almost a week because all of this stuff dropped like immediately after you guys did the show on the 4th of July. But as we all know, the quietest player, I like what I did there, the quietest player in the NBA made the loudest noise this offseason. And I think it's pretty much reached the entire league. I don't know, that might be hyperbole, but it's done something that we're going to talk about. We're going to discuss that move, the effect it has on the rest of the league, along with everything else happening in the world of sports. So make sure y'all keep it locked with your homies right here for the next 2. And if you want to get in on the conversation, all you got to do is sign up right now to the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room, or you can join us on Facebook, Twitter, War Room Sports, Game Time app, wherever. You can also call us directly in about 5 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Before we get started, of course, we got to give some shout-outs, to all the other homies on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Shout out to the mayor after further review. The homies over at Tissue and the Tape. If you're a hip-hop head, even though, man, I was listening to Tissue and the Tape today, Jimmy, the latest episode, these dudes had me about to take a 3-hour trip down to the Hampton Roads area to get some grub. Like, it started out like it was John Appetit or something. Shout out to the Burtons. With John Appetit, if you're a foodie.
Fat Boy Delights.
Damn right. They was definitely on their Fat Boy joint, and I'm sitting here listening, like waiting to hear about some hip-hop. But I got into a groove with that conversation. I was a little upset when they stopped talking about the grub. But shout out to those guys. Shout out to John Appetit, the real show for the foodies with the Burtons. Shout out to the Broad Street line. Roy and Chris, what up? And then you got our football guru, Fred Perdue, with his college football show, Quick Slants, and his NFL show, Cover 2. That's along with myself. So, look, man, we're about to get into all of this. We're not live on the air. Y'all know y'all can check out archive episodes of our show and the shows on our network at the hub, warroomsports.com. The mobile app, warroomsports.com. Just look that up on iOS and Android. iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, everywhere you can hear a podcast. Nabbit, we're probably there. Yo, gotta ask you something real quick, Jim, because I know this was like breaking, pressing, huge news last week as well. And I didn't get to talk to you, brothers, but what's your thoughts on Black Mermaids? Because Black Mermaids has been a huge topic on Earth this past week. What you think about Black Mermaids?
It definitely has. Well, first things first, I'll pop up. But first things first, you mentioned the Broad Street line, and I forgot to mention this. On July 28th, they're going to do like a live podcast at the Philly Pod Fest on South Street. Definitely be in the building. They invited me to come out and talk some ish with them. So that's Sunday, July 28th. So make sure y'all come check us out, 530 South Street for y'all cats in Philly.
And this is information you're only going to get on their show and our show, because I'm pretty sure they don't want to spread this too much. But the brother said if you go up to them after the show and, tell them that you heard it on one of these shows that they were going to buy you a drink, they'll buy you a drink. So that I'm not telling y'all to go get 16 of your friends and go up to them and buy a drink. And remember, that's the fellas from the Broad Street line. You go up to ask Jimmy for a drink, he might flip you off or something.
I'm going to get you some water. But, I just want to put that out there because you just mentioned it. Back to this Black Mermaid thing, man. Like, to me, I actually enjoyed it. I mean, you know, it's white teens, but you know, at the same time, the memes that came out of it gave me great pleasure and joy, and made me feel happy to be a part of being part of the internet culture in 2019, because I thought that was kind of hilarious. But the whole argument in itself is just a joke. Like, are we seriously like getting upset at it's a mermaid, beloved?
Not
real.
That's not real. Like, that's not real. Like, it really doesn't matter what color the mermaid is. And then, like, I forgot there was another movie where somebody was gonna play like an alien or something. Maybe it was some kind of superhero movie, some kind of animated, some cartoon. I don't know. I forgot what it was. But people were upset about that a black girl was gonna like voice a green alien. They said that was supposed to be a white person. Like, this stuff is crazy. I mean, I know they go crazy. Like, certain things people consider classics. I'm not gonna act like I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have a lot of movies, like we keep telling people, yo, don't touch stuff like Coming to America. And they're supposed to do a sequel, not necessarily a remake. So, you know, if it's a sequel, they can't mess with it too much. But, you know, I'd be up in arms if they did a remake to Coming to America, and, you know, the Prince was from Europe and all that kind of stuff.
But I really wouldn't get upset though, because I just wouldn't go. I wouldn't support it. Like,
right.
That's my whole thing with a lot of stuff. Like, yo, just don't support it.
But certain stuff, it's easy. Like, we are talking about a live action version of an animated movie. We are talking about like mythical creatures. Like, a mermaid is not real. So I don't know, man. And these are adults though. Like, first of all, these are children's movies. Not that we can't go see them, because I just finished rocking out to Atlanta a couple weeks ago. But, you know, but still, like, I'm not gonna go there and complain. Like, it's weird, man. It's
all
so
I want to
weird.
say, man.
But it's America. You surprised?
No, shout out to Disney for moving the needle one way or another, man. Because in 2019, it's all about attention. You know, that's the newest drug out there. You know what I mean? Attention.
Everybody's talking trash, Jim. They're gonna go see it anyway. They're gonna act like they're gonna see it so they can complain about it. But Disney's still gonna get that money.
My point is, in this country, in this beautiful country that we are in, you just don't have, like, yo, you have a choice. Don't support it. And some will say, well, it's also my choice to complain. It is, but you look corny. But you can't complain online because you do look corny though. I just can't. I just can't muster up enough energy to like fight one way or another. I just want to laugh at the memes, like.
And I don't even remember, but I'm pretty sure they were super up in arms when they did the remake to Annie and she was black. The funny thing is though, if you really want to get into it, like, the history of Hollywood has been crazy, because, you know, they weren't complaining when Elizabeth Taylor was playing Egyptian queens and, you know, stuff like that. When you look at every movie they make about Egypt, everybody looks like Europeans and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, y'all weren't complaining about that kind of stuff. But as soon as one of your characters changes skin tone, then we got this huge problem.
They tried to make Jesus white. But my whole thing is, I don't, but even with that, all right, cool. You want to have your white Jesus? Go have your white Jesus. I just don't have to support it. Like, the whole thing of being up in arms about a lot, with all the issues that we have going on in the world today, and we have serious issues. Immigration reform. We're talking about reparations. We're talking about, like, you know, we're talking about slavery still existing in the form of prisons. We're talking about
we're talking about the president of the United States, like, sexual misconduct with like 20 chicks.
We're talking about we're talking about the right to do something with your body in terms of abortion. We're talking about these kind of things that are serious issues. We're talking about poverty. We're talking about the racial wealth gap. We're talking about the wealth gap in general. I can't get mad about no damn mermaid.
Man, you're tripping. I just wanted to bring that up, get your opinion on that, because it was amazing to me, like, how big that was in the news. And, you know, it's brought up people creating pages, Not My Ariel, and it's brought out the racists. Of course, you know, they've been saying crazy stuff. I've seen them put her picture next to a gorilla, a monkey, all that kind of stuff, which is crazy because Halle Bailey, is she old enough for me to say what I'm about to say? Because she's a beautiful chick. She's a beautiful
Yo,
woman. I do watch Blackish.
I don't know, so I think maybe let's proceed with caution. So I don't know.
she should be legal enough for me to compliment, but she's a very pretty girl. So, y'all can keep the monkey and the gorilla photos and all that stuff. You tripping. But no, you're right. The memes have been hilarious because black people, we just met the hate with comedy. Like, oh, y'all complaining? Don't make us take over this movie. And they've been showing memes with traditionally white movies with black casts, and they have been spectacular.
Yeah.
What up, Skyview?
Internet
chat room. What's going on, brother? All right, well, look, man, let's get into some hot topics. Let's get into some sports topics. Like we said in the intro, the NBA landscape has taken, it's changed in the past week or so. So we're going to talk about that for a little while. And these hot topics are brought to you by MyBookie. For all you degenerate gamblers out there, let's talk a minute about how much money you can make betting on sports at MyBookie. You know what's going on. I mean, you guys are sports fans. You're here with us. I mean, we got MLB action going on every night in addition to, everything else that's popping up. And got Wimbledon going on right now. So if you still haven't checked out MyBookie, I still know what you guys are waiting for, man. Go lay down some money on some of these big games. You can join us and a whole lot of other people online placing bets at mybookie.ag. If you're tired of getting a runaround from the services that you already use, or if you're tired of getting ass bet by your friends, we can just join MyBookie. When you win, they pay, no hassles. You're pretty much wasting your time doing it anywhere else. They even have in-game live betting, so you can place wagers after the game start, prop bets, all that kind of stuff. So join now, and MyBookie will match your first deposit up to $1,000. Just use promo code WARROOM, all caps, to activate this offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, get paid. All right, like we said in the intro, and like everybody's been talking about all week, Kawhi Leonard, he proved a lot of pundits wrong because in the 23rd hour of this whole thing, a lot of people were saying the Los Angeles Clippers were out. Broussard has been taking a lot of heat this week, and he's been defending himself on his particular radio show for the entirety of the week. But Kawhi chooses the Clippers, but he didn't just choose the Clippers. He's bringing a friend with him because evidently he had talked to Paul George. Paul George requested a trade from the OKC Thunder, who he had just signed a max deal with the prior season. OKC has obliged him. They're getting 5 draft picks back from the Los Angeles Clippers. And some more people will tell you the exact details of the deal in a few seconds. But Jim, like, what did you think when you saw it? I mean, I know we have our chat and everything, and I know everybody was on Kawhi watch. We were trying to watch some NBA Summer League at the time, but we kind of knew the city was at any minute. There was earthquakes going on out in California. Vegas Summer League games were getting postponed, getting canceled. It was a wild time a week ago when this all happened. What were your thoughts, especially mixed in with the fact that you're a Lakers fan and the Lakers had seemed to be the front runners for a while there? What were your thoughts when you heard this news?
Yo, funny thing is, I wasn't really shocked with the Kawhi news. The thing that had me in shock was the Paul George thing. Because I was watching the Summer League, and like my wife saw it first on like a notification on the phone. She was like, Paul George and Kawhi to the Clippers, and I'm not trying to sound like a misogynist. I was like, you're reading it. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. You ain't nowhere. I'm like, what are you talking about? Ladies sports. yeah. I was like, yo, go make me a sandwich. I'm joking. I'm joking. But I was like, yo, you got to be reading that wrong. She was like, no. So then, the news broke, and I'm like, how did that happen? Like, him going to the Clippers didn't really shock me, but the power move of getting PG-13 is the one that had me like, wow. I was like, go ahead, Go ahead to your little Clippers. You know, like the upset lady said. Go ahead to your little Clippers team. But that to me was shocking, man. Shout out to Uncle Dennis, man. Uncle Dennis is a power player in the league, and I don't even know what he looked like.
Uncle Dennis and Rich Paul run the NBA.
Yo,
Uncle Dennis need to go get some more
crazy.
clients.
So like news comes out after the fact, and from what I read today, that Doc Rivers, as recent as the day he signed, that.
I can't hear you. Here we go. Come on now. Can y'all hear us in the chat room?
Himself.
All right, there he is. You went out for a minute, Jim.
Oh, you know why? Cause
you said Doc Rivers as recently as the day he signed, and then you went out.
Oh yeah, my bad. My microphone went out because I got one of them flash flood warnings. Anyway, Doc Rivers, as recent as the same day he signed, that evening, a couple hours before he signed, was texting friends and telling people like, yeah, I think he's probably gonna go to the Lakers. And next thing you know, he ended up with the Clippers and how the whole thing played out. What I find interesting is, and I heard about KD doing this too, these players not only are making decisions like that, but they're not even telling the teams. They said Brooklyn found out KD was going to Brooklyn when KD said he was going to Brooklyn. He never called them and told them.
Right. So now I did hear a lot of reports, and I'm wondering if Brooklyn is saying that because of another story we'll talk about a little later. You know, Adam Silver is feeling some type of way that, you know, how fast these reports are coming out of people signing when the free agency period started. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. I'm like you. I wasn't really shocked. I mean, I did. You started to think because, you know, all of the pundits who claim to have all these sources and all of that, you know, started to say that the Clippers were in third place. They didn't have much of a shot. I still held in the back of my mind, I'm sitting here wondering what kind of dude Kawhi is. And I'm like, would he really sign with the Lakers, like, and be a part of the LeBron legacy schedule? And, you know, especially since he's sitting on top of the basketball world right now, like, that would be weird to me. And from all reports, he didn't necessarily not sign there because of that. But the whole thing with the, you know, going to the Clippers, we kind of know that's where he wanted to be all along. You know, I don't know if that was because LeBron signed in, you know, Lakerland last year, but, you know, all kinds of reports came out throughout the past year. Like, he grew up, he wasn't even a Laker fan, yada, yada, yada. The Clippers had a good chance of getting him. And he ended up making the move. So like you said, I wasn't really shocked with where he went. I personally thought, even though the pundits were saying Lakers, 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 I thought he was going to end up signing back in Toronto and maybe doing a short deal like he ended up doing with the Clippers.
I thought Toronto had. I would have made them the favorites myself. I definitely would have pegged him to going back to Toronto. I think the Lakers is a long shot. And the funny thing is, I said in our group chat, and I told people when I said it, I said, he'll save the file. Once Broussard said the Clippers are out, it's between the Lakers and Toronto, I was like, you all know what that means. Save the file. He's going
always wrong.
And I said it.
Oh.
Yeah, I said it trolling.
I remember you said that.
Say it
Yeah,
trolling.
he definitely did.
But, you know, but at the end of the day, I thought he was just going to sign back with the Raptors and run it back. But because I didn't see this PG move. Like, who could have predicted this?
Right. And that, like I said, like you, that was the shocking part of it. You're like, all right, Kawhi was going to make a decision. It was going to be between three teams. Okay, there's really nothing to be surprised about. But damn, how the hell he get a dude that's under contract? Tell me that wasn't tampering. How you get a dude under contract under a damn max that he signed last year?
I don't even know what tampering means no more. What does tampering mean in 2019?
There's no such thing, man. It's obviously no such thing.
That's the crazy part. Like that right there, like, blew my mind. But you know, it's funny how, like, you have the one perception of Kawhi, like, what kind of guy is he? Like, if he signs with the Lakers. To me, I thought the same thing, but in thinking that, the way my brain works is, I'm like, all right, Kawhi would sign with the Lakers because Kawhi literally doesn't care what anyone thinks about him.
Right, which is why all three of the teams probably had a shot at it. because Kawhi don't.
Yeah, I thought Kawhi would take that route and be like, look, Kawhi is about his load management game. Shout to Tobias, but he's about his load management game. And I was like, he can go there to take some games off.
You brought up Uncle Dennis. The greatest thing about Uncle Dennis is in the social media era with 24-hour news cycles, this dude can keep a secret, and he can get that secret kept on all channels because people can say what they want, but until he made that decision, like you just said, Doc Rivers claimed to not even know he was going to make that decision.
Yeah.
So these dudes can keep the hell out of a secret, and that's different in today's
Kawhi
today's
is
time.
different
So
in general. He does everything different.
Right. So what you saying, how Kawhi is just different like that? Like I wouldn't be surprised if we found out 2 months from now that Kawhi Leonard took a meeting with the Atlanta Hawks or somebody and seriously considered him. Because he is just that weird of a dude. In the group chat.
Tobias said that if Uncle Dennis was representing AD, the Lakers would have got that done last year. But
the Lakers. But yeah, they would have got it done, and we wouldn't have known anything about it until it happened. Like with that whole deal, we knew every offer the Lakers made, and every time they revised it, we knew all of that.
Everything leaked. Kawhi is just a different dude altogether. Like his whole everything is just different. Like the way he moves is different. Everything's different, man. The boy ain't from here, man. He's from a different era. He been here before, and he's like reincarnated, or he's just an alien, man. But he's just a different dude, man.
So what do you think, Jimmy, this does for the league as far as balance is concerned? Because I was of the thought, had he gone to the Lakers, even though it would have been difficult for them to fill out their roster, it would be pretty much like, okay, barring anything negative with their health, this team is winning another ring, and it would have just been so stacked. This seems to balance it out for me a little bit.
That's just appearances. Like to me. Like, me and you have never agreed on it, like the whole super teaming thing, because I don't think that it matters one way or another. Like, even in this era where we have quote-unquote super teams, like, how many NBA champions have we had the past decade? Like, nothing really changes in terms of – so to me, I don't think it really balances anything out, because if anything else, now the East is weak. Because now
for me, the biggest thing for me was, first of all, it's already too many teams. And being somebody that tries to watch as much hoops as possible, it's just less. I guess you could look at that as a positive these days, because there's less stuff I got to watch. but my thing was always, it just takes every year when somebody does this, it takes another team just out of the mix of being watchable. So my beef has always been from an entertainment standpoint. Of course, the Sunday games, the national TV games, the Thursday game, all that stuff is going to be entertaining because they're going to keep putting these diesel teams up against each other for us to watch.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're also in an era where, and getting back to Tobias' point, where we have load management as being part of the culture of the league. And it used to be when they first started doing this, cats were still playing the big games. They don't even care about that no more. They'd be like, oh, it's a big matchup, such and such for such and such. Oh, he's sitting out.
You done wasted the grand on them tickets, consumer.
Yeah, that's a real thing now. Like,
but for me, not even just what I just said, though, I still just think it's if Kawhi goes to play with LeBron and AD, I just think that's soft. I'd have called him all kinds of names. And I'm not totally letting Kawhi off the hook anyway, because it's not like he just went and signed with the Clippers, because apparently, from what reports say, he would have signed with the Lakers had he not gotten that Paul George thing done. So, I can't, I gotta be consistent with mine. But there's levels to this. We all know what I think about LeBron. Then we know what I think about KD. This doesn't hit it doesn't register like those.
And I'm consistent in my things too. I don't mind the super teams. I really don't mind the super teams because to me it doesn't change anything. There's still only a handful of teams, even right now with everything we said. There's a handful of teams that could win a chip. It is what it is. But,
and there's no guarantee. Miami thought they were going to run off 6 or 7, and they got 2.
Not one.
But I still think it's soft.
But to me,
y'all do.
To me, I don't even think that it's soft. To me, the only one that really rubbed me the wrong way was the KD one, and that's because of how it went down. In terms of him losing that 3-1 lead and then like jumping on the set. To me, that was like that was charming. Like LeBron John didn't bother me, and even the Kawhi John, like, because to me Kawhi was at a point now where like, what else I got to prove? Like at this point, I'm just gonna go have fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like after what he did to win the championship, I felt like he could have did anything he wanted to at that point, because even what he did is different than what KD did. Like he's won one as the man already. KD really hasn't.
See, and that's the thing, though. There's for every instance, there's going to be different circumstances. That's why it's like levels to us, because people are going to talk about it a different way. I still think, you know me, the player I've compared to Kawhi Leonard the most in the NBA in their whole careers was Paul George. So I'm like, you know, all right, he went and grabbed this dude. That's one less dude he got to go against at the same position because they went and teamed up together. Fine.
And Paul George, he's just admitting that he's a beta male. He's like, who's gonna lead me this time? Okay, Russ, now I'm going with Kawhi. Soft, dude.
This will say, oh, you going to the Clippers? All right, let me try to get out of this then. Like, damn, Paul, like he ain't got no pride. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I think this move more than some of the other ones kind of balanced it out more, because even though people were automatically giving the Clippers, you know, the chip or the Lakers the chip, I don't necessarily think it's like that. You know what I mean? The fact that those two are there, you got some other tough teams in the West that nobody's talking about anymore. They were talking about them a week and a half ago, until, you know, this happened, and then the Lakers put their roster together. You got some good teams in the East. It was very short-lived. The East's reign on the top was shorter than leprechauns, because, you know, everybody was talking how deep the East was becoming, and now people are only talking about two teams again, which is probably
but to me that's what I mean by balance.
Right.
To me, it's still not balanced, because the West Coast is like whoever. But another quick question, coming off of that point, I was looking at the West yesterday, and I'm like, all right, so Lakers, Clippers, everybody done pegged them in for the Western Conference Finals except me and you, because I listen, man, Denver and Utah ain't about that life.
Denver was coming up. Utah made some great moves.
Let's take Denver, Utah, right? That's 2. Lakers, Clippers is 4. Houston is 5.
Damn, man, I didn't even think about Houston. Portland.
All right, so who
made it to the Western Conference Finals?
Where do the Warriors fall into this?
We didn't even say nothing about the Warriors. The Warriors, I talked about this with a neighbor yesterday. The Warriors are they are being totally disrespected right now.
So that's my thing. Do they ball out of control because no one's really like paying attention to them, or do they fall out of the playoffs?
I don't see them falling out, but what they don't have room for though is all the Steph injuries, all the load management. They ain't got room or time for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think D'Angelo Russell is a good fit over there. I personally, to me, it seems 100% in my mind that once Klay comes back healthy enough, you know, they're going to try to trade him. Maybe not this season, but they're going to try to trade him. There's no way. The lineup is just too small. Like you got Steph, D'Angelo, Klay Thompson, and Draymond that have to start. You got Draymond playing the 4 or the 5, and he ain't no damn taller than Klay Thompson, barely. Like, there's a lot of good stuff they can do offensively, but who you gonna guard with that lineup? So I don't see D'Angelo Russell fitting. They should have picked up Taco. I know. Somebody better go out there and get Taco. He out there balling for Boston, and I'm a little upset that, you know, Boston might end up with him. But I mean, they're gonna throw him in there and let him block Embiid shots all over the place.
You also got the Spurs still, and we didn't mention Portland.
You got Sacramento, who's supposed to be on the come up every year. I saw the improvement. I don't know if they're ready to get into the playoffs now that everybody.
But we got Portland. Portland just went to the Western Conference Finals, right?
Went to the Western
so we still
Conference
got Portland.
Finals.
So where do they fit in? And I mean, for those listening, I want y'all to call in and let me know, where do you think the Warriors fit in? Like, what's going to happen with the Warriors?
Right.
You know what I'm saying, at this moment?
Or do y'all think that the Clippers and Lakers are just being handed stuff? They're being, you know, too hyped. Yeah, let us know what y'all think. Shout out to Skyview in the chat room. his first question, he's trying to get us in trouble. He said he didn't attend an HBCU, so his opinion counts a little less. And this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And to his credit, he said this much earlier, but we just getting to it. He said, what's our thoughts on HBCU alum that fully reps their school marrying a member of the opposite race? I don't know if I want to tackle that one, Ken.
I don't even know where he got that topic from. What does that got to do with the Warriors, man? Like, I mean, where'd that come from?
We'll get back to that. We'll definitely get back to that.
I don't know how that's possible. Oh, I know what he's talking about. He's talking about our presidential. He's talking about our presidential.
Crossed my mind before, but you trying to get us in trouble.
He's talking about our presidential candidate.
Right. He also said OKC is gonna have a rough time marketing Dennis Schroeder as their marquee player. Well, anybody would, because boy look like District 9. What else? He said he think Kawhi went to the Clippers because they have no championship. If they win with him, that's more history being made. It damn sure is. If this dude can win a championship with the Raptors, who's never won one before, and the Clippers, who have been
just put him on Mount Rushmore
of Los Angeles for so long, right? He going straight up to NBA Mount Rushmore. So it is definitely a challenge. But then we looked at the contract he signed. So that brings speculation because his contract and Paul George's contract, they can basically get out of this after 2 years. They have a player option. He only signed a 3-year contract. That's Kawhi I'm talking about. And he has a player option after 2 years. It doesn't necessarily mean, he's giving the Clippers this amount of years and then going to say, let's see where we are. But that could end up being the issue. But what he's really doing it for is because by the time the 2 years are up, he would have his 10-year service in the league, and he can re-up for an even more astronomical number. Plus, they'll have his bird rights. So he'll get the hell with the super. He'll get the mega max once he re-ups in 2 years. So, what Kawhi is doing, I don't know who's leading his business team, if it's Uncle Dennis, but they're killing it right now. They're killing it right now. He can get like 250 in 2 years.
Hashtag bet on yourself. Yo,
right. This man can re-up for like 250.
Salute to Kawhi. He's going to get wealthy, become one of the greatest players, and just disappear. He's just going to disappear on this stuff. Like,
right.
And no one could – listen, from what I understand, New Balance was pushing him to go home too. They want to be in the L.A. market. So
the balance. So back to the issue Kawhi. Speaking of balance, back to that issue of the league being balanced. I think this is the greatest time in probably the last decade as far as how many numbers of teams have an opportunity to actually win the championship. Like I said, a lot of people after the move, they just giving it to the Clippers. Bron and AD is a scary tandem, when you look at it. But I really think, you have at least 2 or 3 teams in the East who possibly win the championship, even with these teams over here in the West constructed as they are. Then you got Clippers, Lakers, and like the other teams that Jimmy mentioned. Like there's a lot of people I think this season will end up being better and probably more competitive than a lot of people think. I'm not just handing it to either one of these teams. I think they still got to go out and earn that.
I think the season will be exciting to watch people in a new place. I think it's still going to shape up to be like 2 or 3 teams that can win. Also, I wouldn't be shocked. Now, I want y'all to remember this, for those listening in. Keep the file. Jimmy said it. Don't be shocked if New Orleans makes the playoffs. Probably as an 8 seed.
They tooled up. They tooled up. I mean, even though Zion looked like trash in his little summer league debut.
But I mean,
but they got some talent on it.
So if Zion could play a little bit of ball, I can see them making the 8 seed. Keep the file, y'all. I said it. So I'm definitely looking forward to the season. I want to see how things play out. I mean, some would say that Kawhi brought New Balance to the league. Don't even ask how.
Bars.
But it's going to be fun, man. I think this whole off season has been amazingly fun. Like
Yeah.
The NBA and I forgot
Yo,
what else.
we haven't
I
talked
know.
football yet. We haven't talked football yet.
Yo, and that's
we talk
crazy.
football all year round.
Considering we're heading into August and we don't even care right now. Like, who says where is that? But it's funny though, because Marcellus, I think it was Marcellus Wiley. He was like, because he's a football guy, and he was getting, people were talking about how the NBA is this. He was like, well, revenue-wise, football makes twice the amount, but it's the perception. The NBA killing the perception game.
I mean, but then you look at revenue-wise, too. On game day, you got 60, 70,000 people there instead of 15, 20.
Absolutely. But Steven Jackson, S-Jack rebutted him. He was like, that's all good, but the players ain't getting most of that money. He was like, all y'all football players would love to be basketball players. I was like, damn, he barred his life up.
Yeah, he did. He did. So the deal, of course, for Paul George, the Clippers gave up their first-round picks in 2022, 24, 26, plus the ones for 2021 and 2023 that they got from Miami. So they sent them a lot of their future, but they're figuring, if we got these guys and just a couple of good young guys, we should be set for a while. But a lot of major deals got completed yesterday. Klay Thompson, of course, who re-upped with Golden State, he signed his 5-year, almost $190 million deal. Dame Lillard signed a $196 million extension that doesn't even start for another 2 years. He already gonna get his dough for the next 2 years, and then he got another 196 waiting for him. Of course, the Warriors waived Sean Livingston, so if anybody's looking for a good backup point guard, he's out there. So it's crazy. Free agency, as Jimmy said, has been crazy, and we're gonna go to the phone lines. We see you waiting, Tobias. Last thing, because we mentioned it a few minutes ago, Adam Silver is publicly stating his disdain for the way things went down. He's thinking like his sense was that when it comes to free agency, are there any enforceable rules that they can add? Because, I mean, Jim, because we were on free agency watch, so we can, chat about it in the chat room. Like, it was like 5:59 on that day, and like 20 deals just came down the pike. Like, they were just waiting to announce them. And people were like, okay, if you're not even supposed to talk to free agents until this time, how is it 6:01 and we done already announced 20 deals? And now you have teams like Brooklyn saying, well, we didn't know Kevin Durant was coming here until he announced it, which is even crazier because that shows.
It sounds crazy, but the reason I think that might be true, I remember that.
No, it might be because it shows the kind of power you have. Like, Kevin Durant could have probably picked any of the 30 teams in the league, and they would have made it work financially to get him.
Because they said Bron did that when he went back to Cleveland. They said the last person to find out was Cleveland.
They were like, oh, word? He's coming here?
He put that gun up like, I'm coming back home. They was like, oh, are you? Because I always thought it was funny. I was like, what if Gilbert would have been mad petty and been like, no, I'm cool.
I know, right? Yeah, so
that city would have killed me.
Once you have a certain stature in the league, once you have a certain amount of power, it's not really hard to believe because any of the 30 teams in the league would make room for you if you said, I'm coming there. So, yeah.
Kawhi should have just picked a random-ass team that ain't got no cap space and let them figure it out. But man.
Yeah, so, all right.
I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do to enforce anything. Like, what can you actually do? You want to tell players they can't speak to each other? One thing I put together though, and it doesn't take a detective to figure this out, is that a lot of these joints happen, man, after like these Olympics.
Right, when they all get to meet and play together and become buddies.
Tight in the Olympics. KD and Kyrie got tight in the Olympics. Like, the Olympics be bringing cats together. Like, we should team up. Like, and with that being
Jimmy
said,
you just gave Adam Silver one remedy he could try. Stop letting these dudes play on the Olympic team.
Yeah,
like, they can't do that no more. Send mid-level dudes.
What connections are about to happen in 2020? We got to see one of the teams. Once we start looking at the team, we can figure out. All right.
I know. I know. So he also reiterated his disdain for players publicly asking for trades and forcing their way out. So, Paul George was the inspiration behind this coming back up again. I think they really thought they had a victory last year in the fact that Paul George re-upped with a small market team. They looked at that as a win, I think. And now, a year out.
Take that L.
Yeah, Paul George has clearly showed you that LeBron going to the Lakers kind of turned him off because that's the only place he wanted to play. So then all of a sudden he wants to re-up with Russ, but then the first opportunity he gets to go home, then he's asking out.
Yo, shout out to Tobias because Tobias always brings up the Paul George scenario, and like I always say, that's an outlier. That's not how it always works. And he left anyway. Paul George is so terrible that when he had that special on ESPN, I will never forget watching the first episode. And my man said, when you think of L.A., you think of PG-13. And then he decided he wasn't going there anyway. Why you even say that then? But
but who thinks that though? What are you talking about?
Yeah, the funny thing, nobody thinks that. You're not even from LA, beloved. You from one of them little, Paul, I forgot what it was. All my LA homies told me because they was mad that he did what he did, so they start,
I know.
You ain't even from LA.
That's how it was. Everybody start disowning Kobe and Philly. He ain't from Philly.
Yeah.
Moved from county somewhere.
But they definitely feel like they got a W, and now they got to hold this L because PG found a way out anyway. But listen, what I like about this, shout out to our brother B. Austin. They call me Big City Jim. I like the fact that Cats is in big cities. So we got Brooklyn, which is we got the Clippers, we got LA, both LAs. It's lit for me. I get to not watch these flyover states. Like I don't want to watch OKC games. So PG-13 was balling so crazy last year. I had to watch a couple games. You know what I'm saying? Like I like this. I don't want to watch.
So you probably want Russ.
They're not even in this country.
You need Russ to end up in New York or Chicago then. Like,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I guess Miami.
Ball, dog.
I guess Miami has become a pretty big market. So, yeah.
That's cool.
All right, so let's go to the phone line. Let's get Tobias on the line. I know he's mad at us because he's been holding for a minute. What up, Tobias? Roll damn Tide.
Oh, damn Tide. I'm already talking about football. I'm about Alabama. But first things first, guys. If the black Ariel shows out in that under the sea with a bonnet on her head, I'm going to lose it. But, like Paul George, for example, right? If you didn't want to be there, why you signed there? Oh, wait, they offer him the most money. But the problem is everybody want to bang on Russell Westbrook. They don't I put in the group, they ain't have the Westbrook problem. They got a being in Oklahoma City problem. That's the problem. It's not a city where people want to live in. It's like you got people that from there don't move there. People don't want to say, hey, when I get rich, I want to live in Oklahoma City where there's an Applebee's and a Chili's there. They got these teams and cities where nobody wants to live in with options. But also the problem is also the front offices. I want the Bulls to go after Russell Westbrook hard, but that cheap blanketed blank over owner won't do it. They run the team like they're the Indiana Pacers do. But you're right about the big market, because the big market, what people don't realize, Oklahoma City was a nice story. The Chicago Bulls is that Midwest team. The New York Knicks, you get more eyeballs on the set because, you got the Oklahoma City fan base, but you don't get eyeballs like that with people all over the country, like live from Chicago, like a lot of people in Chicago live here. Or New York, you got people from all over, you get these fan bases all over. Nobody's going to Oklahoma City. They got all these draft picks. What the draft pick will be, 28? Good luck with that. Good luck. And my thing was, how the hell are you going to get Lou Williams in the trade? Or how the hell are you going to get Montrezl Harrell or something in the trade? Or Patrick, I know Beverly signed, you couldn't trade him. But I'm getting some, you want my guy, I'm getting some players off of you too.
Yeah,
but
I guess they just made the decision. They just rebuild them completely. They don't even want nobody that's going to help them compete because they try to tank too. They try to tank at the same time. They traded him for a bunch of 8th graders.
Yeah, and we see how there's a 19-year-old this ain't like the 90s where, like, these guys, the new NBA people who crap on it, those guys are coming in at 21, 22 years old. These guys coming at 18 years old playing AAU coaching. They're not even getting real college coaching. They, like, for that year, but they're not growing to their game, so you got to teach them how to play ball, hope they grow. Well, look at Zion, for example. I said it months ago. Everybody's hyping this kid up, but don't realize how much he has to grow his game and lose weight. We were saying that months ago. But now when he played one game, and he's on load management in the summer league, y'all saw that one. But, you know, but you cannot depend on you young guys. But at the same time, I'm all about, hey, if you're a free agent, do what you got to do. Go wherever you want to go. I am glad that it's like two stars on the team, because I hear all these people crying about, well, LeBron had to go. I'm sorry, I got to piss off Court and his people. LeBron had to go to these super teams, but he had a super team too. Now we can watch the All-Star game, and more teams are represented, not just two teams with half the damn All-Star team. You know, but I do believe that. I do believe there are certain, like, you got more teams that feel like they have a shot. They may not win it, but they have a shot. And I do believe the Lakers and the Clippers, we got to hold off on that. I remember everybody was penciling Boogie becoming a team Olajuwon with the Warriors. It doesn't work out that way. You got to play the game first. And last time I checked, Paul George, what was his playoff moment? That's what I'm saying.
But I guess, but here's the good thing, though. The good thing is he's on a team now where he don't even have to be that, because, I mean, they gave the Warriors a run for their money with that squad they got there already. And in terms of Boogie, I think that's a good thing too, because there's no the expectations of Boogie now seem so far down that it's easy for him to beat them expectations.
I was about to say, Boogie might. I mean, because you couldn't, like, it was really unrealistic to expect Boogie to be that good with the Warriors just coming off of an Achilles injury. You get another year under your belt of being back, you know, in athletic competition on that level. Like, that Boogie signing could end up being big for them. Like, they pretty much have a big three instead of a big
honestly,
two.
I thought the Lakers should sign him last year, to be honest with you. Just take a flyer. And I always thought that, because the guy has talent, and his game is not predicated on athleticism. Boogie's one of the most skilled big men in the league. And Anthony Davis loved playing with him. Because people talk about the positionless NBA all they want. Ask Anthony Davis who want to play the five, see how much positionless he want to be. You know. But the Lakers.
Yo, you know what's funny? I was watching a video the other day, and the guy was breaking down, like, because, you know, we're in a different time in terms of the league, in terms of how we're playing, you know, people playing positionless basketball, and players don't play with their back to the basket. But I got caught in the YouTube trap, and someone was breaking down, like, how things seem to change every, like, 7 to 10 years in terms of how the game is played. But one thing he pointed out that I never even thought about, he said that Shaq changed the game because guys who traditionally would be centers literally didn't want to guard Shaq. So they started, like, he said Shaq was part of the reason people started doing the European League and also Shaq. Cats was like, I'm going to go out here and shoot some jump shots because I'm not guarding Shaq. And he said so a lot of cats around that era started becoming fours, and even if they didn't stretch to shoot, they just wanted to play pick and roll ball because they didn't want to get down there and bang bodies with Shaq. I just found that interesting to be one thing. So, people are penciling in the Lakers and Clippers, and I don't know, man. Like, the West is tough. I do think it'll be dope for it to happen, like I said in the group chat, just because a Western Conference final where nobody has to travel. And the only people who be pissed are the people that got to change the floor over, like, every night. I think that would be funny. Like, would they literally change the floor every night, or would they just put, like, both logos in the middle and be like, look, we done for the series?
Hockey team too, remember, in the same.
The Lakers ain't letting their tenants have their logo on the floor during one of their home games, because that's all the Clippers are. They're not neighbors. They're not roommates. They're tenants, and the Lakers are the landlord of the Staples Center.
I wonder how long that lasts though. Like, how long they in a contract? Because, you know, Ballmer got more money than God, he might mess around and be like, "Look, we tired of this."
I thought I heard they were trying. I thought they were doing something sometime soon to get up out of there.
You know what?
I don't know.
And I'll say this
listening.
stuff. I know people want to. I know like these people who bang on Westbrook and stuff, and somehow Cowherd still bangs on Derrick Rose for some reason. But with John, like, what do you want the Bulls to do? LeBron and KD weren't available. But the Knicks. I know people like this movement. If I'm the Knicks, I'll go for it with Westbrook. Or the Bulls, go for it. Because the thing is, I think the Pistons should trade for him. Because here's the thing. The Bulls are unwatchable, and I'm a fan. It's a chore sometimes. We got a coach with a team let mutiny within the first week of the guy being there. But the problem, but sometimes you just got to get a guy that can get you relevant. Because I believe Westbrook could get the Bulls and the Knicks into the playoffs. Because there ain't no guarantee you don't get a damn number one pick with a ping pong ball. In the year you may get the damn pick, you may be in the Anthony Bennett draft. Where the damn you do, damn you don't draft. You screw it either way it goes.
That draft where you're like, well, we had to pick somebody, goddamn. We had to make a pick.
No one could trade any of those picks. Nobody wanted to pick. And so that's why I'm like, go get Westbrook. Because you get in the playoffs. Because, like the Bulls, for example, they lost like about a big chunk of their local TV audience. People stopped watching the games on TV. And because the gate of the game is there, but your real money is on that TV. And so you got fans that saying screw this. And so if you bring this guy in, especially with the Jordan brand and that colorway, also the popular colorway, the black and red, you got to go for it, man. You got to go for it. Because who you rather have started at point?
I'm with you, but at the same time, though, I think that, all right, not necessarily playing devil's advocate, but thinking it all the way out. Some teams now aren't making that decision like, look, I just want to make us relevant. They're like, what's the point? I'd rather just, tank all the way out and not even bring somebody in who might get us a couple wins. So I get that. So, like, even with the Knicks, with the decision the Knicks made with all their money, you can make the argument it was the right decision in terms of not going crazy over a guy who's coming off what could be a career-altering injury, and not just not doing what they usually do and taking one of those like C-level players and just overpaying them because they have nobody else to overpay. So you can make that argument. So with your Bulls, the problem with the Bulls I don't see is I don't know what they're doing. Like some teams you can see like they're tanking. Like you can see OKC what they're doing. Once they get rid of, you see what they're doing. Like with your Bulls, I just don't know what they're doing.
Me neither. Here's the thing also. Now, I do believe Kobe White will be a good player, but I don't know because you can always trade the star player anyway. I don't care how much money he makes, you can still move him. You can still move that. But at the same time, you have to, because like, here's the thing. We can say tanking all they want. That front office is delusional. That coaching staff is delusional. You cannot up here keep trying to tank over and over again and thinking that you got this player and that you think he's going to be good because you got a bunch of 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. Zach LaVine's your best player. He's like 22. And he shouldn't be your best player. He should be your number 2 or number 3 with the way his game is. But I
feel like Zach LaVine been
Damn, Zach LaVine's still 22?
22.
I feel like 25.
He's only 22.
Damn.
So
we thought about the same thing at the same time. Like, Zach, we ain't hear nothing else you said, but Zach LaVine 22. Dang, 22.
Yo, he been in the league like a decade already. Yo, these Bulls. Yo.
And I said it's far run, guys.
I didn't realize Anthony Davis was still that young until someone put the joint with the top players under 26 or something like that, and I'm like, Anthony Davis been in the league like damn near a decade.
Hey, far run though. How soon do you think before Frank Vogel gets fired as Laker coach? You think he gonna make it to Halloween? You think he make it to Thanksgiving?
I think Jason Kidd gonna set him up. Like you know how Jason Kidd is. He crafty anyway. You know how you get.
I mean, the thing is though, Jim, they brought Jason Kidd there to set him up. So they telling him, do your magic. We're trying to give you the job. Like, so do what you got to do. The crazy part is, I think Frank Vogel is I always thought he was an all right coach, you know. But all coaches the same way. You look different when you have talent. Bottom line.
Yeah, pretty much.
That goes for the greats as well. Right.
Yeah, because Doc. And by the way, can I ask you guys a question? I'll take it off. And remember, we were saying this like a year or so ago. It's like we be beating the pundits on some of these topics. Remember Chris Broussard and his sources? He had worse sources than Bobby the Brain Heenan. If you watch 80s wrestling, you know what I'm talking about. But you talking about like sometimes trying to demand trades and lead teams don't work out for you. Mind you, the same Paul George getting worked by Joe Ingles that year in the playoffs. But anyway, Dwight Howard, for example, he made a mistake leaving Orlando. Chris Paul, did his situation ever got better winning-wise? Melo, he could have waited to become a free agent and would have had a good team in New York. Sometimes leaving a good situation may not be the best option. And I think everybody think they could do what LeBron does. You can't do what LeBron does. LeBron's that rare player who could make a team into a contender.
Yeah, that is the only thing about players forcing trades when they force them to certain teams. Because now, like the last couple times we saw it, teams oblige, like, yeah, we'll trade you, but we're going to trade you to whoever the hell we want. But when you force a trade to a certain team, like you're pretty much crippling that team because they got to give a lot of stuff back to get you. Yeah. But some people are like, I might not be here tomorrow, so I ain't trying to wait.
Sam Presti be like, oh, you don't want to be here? All right, cool. Like he ain't even about that contentious life, all those rumors and all the innuendo. He like, look, if you tell me you don't want to be here, I'm gonna figure out how we get you out of here.
No doubt. But Tobias, we gotta run, man. We got like 4 calls waiting after you. So
hey,
we wrap to you next week, man. All right.
No doubt. All right, bro.
All right, we got the homie K Lang, Skyview, calling in from Vegas. What up, Kev?
What's happening, fellas? What's happening?
What's up, man?
I had to step away from the chat room for a second. Hey, I got 3 comments. One, Adam Silver is the absolute reason why I know that the NBA lottery is fixed.
Uh-oh.
Why you say that?
Somebody start the fire.
Isn't he the one that put the kibosh on Chris Paul going to the Lakers?
No, that was still Stern. Stern. He was deputy, so I mean, if we want to just throw him in there and say he had something to do with it, he was the deputy commissioner at the time, so he. But he was there.
They're trying to craft the whole NBA, and they don't want people super teaming up. That's what that's about.
They probably I can see that being true because as many times as they've complained openly about, what the players are doing, taking their control right now. I can see them trying to, all right, let's try to make it as even as possible. That's a good point.
All right. And since I'm in Vegas, what's the over and under on who leaves the Clippers first, Doc Rivers or PJ, whatever his name is, Paul George?
Well, considering that he used to date his daughter and
that's what I'm saying.
Cheated on her and got a stripper pregnant. I think they would roll with the player.
Have to go.
Well, these days, I was thinking like you have to go with the player, but these days it's not hard to get players. You just ask Kawhi who else you want to run with, and then they get him up out of there. So,
I can't tamper. You go tamper.
Right. Like Kawhi, who you want to run with? If it's good enough and we can get him, then Paul George might be expendable. So Doc might outlast him.
And last, I'm Sixers for life. What were they thinking by letting J.J. Redick go?
They were thinking J.J. was asking for too much money.
Okay.
I didn't want him to go either. I mean, J.J. is definitely a defensive liability, and he also definitely doesn't do what he does in the regular season in the playoffs. But, if you strengthen other things around the team, like Ben Simmons not being such a limited offensive player, that could, defenses won't change so much for the playoffs, and JJ will still be allowed. He's not going to roam. He's never going to be allowed to roam free, but he'll still be allowed to run around and get semi-open shots from time to time. It's harder to do that in the playoffs because, as much as cliche it sounds, defenses get different.
Richardson is not that guy, though. Richardson is not that guy.
No, he's not. No, he's not JJ.
Yeah.
He's somebody else who can handle the ball, He can hit a three. He can hit an open three, but JJ sometimes hit like amazing threes. Like I said, most of the time in the regular season, he hit big shots when you need them. In the playoffs, don't bet on that. But now I'm gonna miss JJ.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people on it. I think they're just mad because he left.
And
how much bread is JJ made in the back end of his career?
Because I would have tried to do that, and I know I would have tried to do that, and maybe brought JJ off the bench this year, but still having him on the roster was kind of a must if we're not going to replace him with a shooter, because we don't have a specialist. We have people who can hit a three. We no longer have a specialist unless they pick up, Kyle Korver, who has three teams that he's looking at once he clears. But yeah, it's going to be difficult. The team got better defensively. They might bully people more, but they don't have that sniper that they had the last two seasons.
And finally, I went from almost being a Jimmy Butler fan to FOH in T-minus 2 seconds.
Yo, that's how fans be, man. They were like, man, are you leaving? F you then. That's another one, though. Like, I think the team, it's possible the team could have gotten better. But I'd much rather run it back the way we had it last season. I wanted to, losing on a shot like that. Like, you think about what could have been. The team didn't even fully, get their chemistry together, and they still were that close. So you kind of want to run that back. But, Jimmy, he want to go to Miami and meet some IG models and all that kind of stuff. So who knows? Yeah.
All right, Killer.
All right, Kay. No doubt. See you in the chat room.
All right, you got it.
We got Casey Mack calling in from Dallas. We all over the map today. What up, Casey Mack?
We got the whitest basketball team in the NBA.
Yeah, the EuroLeague, man. You knew once Dirk established himself as a Hall of Fame player, they were going to believe in that for the rest of Mark Cuban's tenure there. So yeah, y'all nice in European.
We got a whole bunch of money to play with too. All that money and no free agents coming to Dallas. Imagine that.
That's another team though that we didn't mention that could make some playoff noise this year. Could. We'll see.
Porzingis he's got to perform.
If he can come back,
I got something to say about Kawhi.
If he can be an impactful unicorn, because he's a productive one. But, with the Knicks, you produce and it's not leading to wins. If he could be an impactful unicorn, along with Luka and, all the pieces they put around him, they might be battling with Jimmy's potential pick for that AC. They might be battling with New Orleans.
The West is going to be a beast once again.
Yeah.
Kawhi
Bring Dallas to the East, and they definitely making the playoffs. 7-8.
Shoot, I'll take that bet. We in the Eastern football, might as well put it in Eastern basketball. Yeah.
The football divisions half of them make no sense, but they just want tradition. How the hell is Dallas in the NFC East?
Makes no sense at all. Hey, one thing about Kawhi, he is setting the precedence of silence. You can do a lot of damage by not opening your mouth, keeping silent.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. You have to be a certain kind of guy. We're living in a society where people want attention so bad they go to the store to lick ice cream before without buying it. Like, that's the world we live in, and that's how much people crave attention. He's just built different. Like, most cats aren't built like him.
Right. Hey, and he craves as much attention as LeBron James has in his free agency.
Yeah, and you know what though? You know what that silence does, Casey Mack? That he was able to, he was affecting what ultimately was going to turn out to be the competition, the Lakers, because he had them sitting there waiting. You know, they had all this money to play with, and he had them sitting there waiting. Now, I'm giving the Lakers props because I think they're. I don't even know if it was their plan B because they were lucky that certain guys were still out there. But I think they ended up doing well, even though they kind of got, burned by Kawhi Leonard. But they took a gamble. You waited around. Kawhi, all the good names really went off of the board before he made his decision. So you were taking a big gamble of not being able to fill out that team with a plan B. But they found some guys out there.
Who were the Lakers going to go after if they didn't? Who were the Lakers going to go after if there was no such thing as Kawhi? I mean,
they had so much to grab. See, I always thought the Lakers shouldn't have had their focus on a third max player. They had enough money to make their team deep as hell. And when your superstar is 35 years old, you need to be deep.
I wanted them to get the ball from the Pacers. What's I can't pronounce it.
Bogdanovich.
Yeah, I thought they should
like cats like that. You can grab some little cats. That's nice.
Listen, man. Here's the thing, right? I know that the Lakers took a gamble on Kawhi, and a lot of Lakers fans, they huffed after they didn't get him. Don't even ask how. But some people actually believe that this might be the best team LeBron James has ever had. What do you guys think about that? Because they said from top to bottom, LeBron has never had a team this good. And I'm like, well, I'm thinking about the Heat, and they were saying, like, no, even after the Heat, after you get past the big three, they really didn't have anything. What do you think about the teams that LeBron has had
they
in the course of
the
the year?
Decent veterans, too, though. Like, you had the Ray Allens out there. You had the Shane Battiers and cats like that. But no, they had
good role players, but they didn't have no AD and a potential DeMarcus Cousins. I'm gonna reiterate how this was a wonderful pickup they had DeMarcus. You're getting him for $3 million for a 16-8 guy on a bounce back year.
Yeah.
He can't get up and improve.
That was 16-8 in his worst year. DeMarcus is a 25 and 12
and
guy.
he had a good rapport with AD. You just imagine adding LeBron to the mix. I mean, to me, that's true. That is lethal.
That's how when they had a feeling
Boogie
was going to go there. But I'm telling you, that Boogie pickup is going to be the one that everybody's going to be talking about at the end of the season. I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen anybody get back to their full self from that injury, but he's going to be better than he was last year. Even if he puts up the same numbers. Last year was just, all right, a lot of the Warriors do load management, so we let Boogie get in and get some minutes this week. But if you could put up 16-8, 16-10 in your full capacity with the Lakers, and they can count on you when them dudes do get hurt to put up 22, 25 some nights, that's going to be a hell of a...
I just need Boogie to get that attitude back, man, because one thing the Lakers... Hey, Casey Mack, man, you might want to mute your whatever you listen on. But anyway,
I think Casey Mack listening to the fire frequency.
It sounds like he in the middle of Stranger Things or something.
He got some background noise.
No, but what I was saying is I need him to bring that energy and that attitude back. Like, the Lakers were missing that with all them young boys crying about not being able to play Fortnite. We didn't have that attitude that Boogie used to bring to the game. So, and I think he'll get it right,
Tobias in Game Time group, he said the parts in Miami fit. He said people forget how good those teams were defensively, and they were some really good defensive teams down there in Miami. But I think, even though, because we do the comparisons, because everybody's only been talking about the Clippers and Lakers all week, while I know I said at one point that the Clippers were far superior defensively than the Lakers, but that's really like defensive star power. Because once you go outside of the people that are defensive stars, which are their two-way players, Kawhi, Paul George, and then of course Patrick Beverly being a pest. Like, if the Lakers can gather some defensive chemistry, they got some pretty good defenders there too. Now we have something that we're going to talk about later in the show that might affect what the Lakers are going to be able to do defensively. We'll talk about that a little later. But Casey Mack, man, thanks for your call. We got a couple more, so we're going to move it on, but we'll wrap to you next week, hopefully, all right?
All right, homie.
All right, man. right, man, we got Rob and Callie. The call is crazy tonight. Rob, what's going on, man?
What's good, gentlemen? How y'all doing, man?
Good, man. Good.
Man, you good?
How you feeling? I saw you on social media talking about Kawhi sold his soul. How you sell your soul for not teaming up with two top 5 dudes?
I said, wait. You have pause. You have to read the whole quote. You have to read the whole quote. Read the quote, Dev. Read the whole quote, Dev.
You said something about the earthquake. I'm paraphrasing. You said that earthquake. That wasn't an earthquake in L.A. That was the explosion from Kawhi Leonard selling his soul.
Exactly. Thank you for paraphrasing.
What makes that different from what I just said?
No, you're right. I agree. It's hey. I said what I said. Okay.
Man, I ain't gonna press you on it because I know you were a Lakers fan who thought he was coming, so you're a little salty.
Everybody, man, salty, man. Lakers fans will fill up half the Pacific Ocean. We was all salty. You kidding me, man? We was saltier than freaking Wendy's fries, man.
My man had
your man. They already had a mural of Kawhi in the Lakers uniform, which I don't understand. The Lakers got 16, 17 chips. Like, why are they fans so thirsty? Like, y'all don't need to be that thirsty. Y'all go from. It depends on the circumstance. Y'all go from cocky to thirsty. But like everybody putting up a mural of everybody who say they might go to the Lakers, like y'all don't need to be doing that.
This is a basketball city. This is a basketball city, man.
That means if you gave him a mural before he signed, y'all was gonna give him a statue on day one.
Man, give him a Blumpkin on day one. But hold on, Rob. It is a basketball city.
Listen. Will Paul Gasol help Kobe freaking win 2 championships, dude? Go to 3 but win 2. Man, they was naming restaurants after Paul Gasol, man. Come on, man. This is Lakers, man.
But it's also
helped Kobe win 2 championships.
Huh?
Kawhi Leonard hadn't even signed, and he had a mural.
Yo, Kawhi Leonard did nothing but flirt. All Kawhi Leonard did was pinch the butt as they walked by. Like he didn't do anything. But listen though, Rob, here's what it is though. What it is I'm telling you, 2019 is a weird time. People love attention. That includes artists. It's like the mural game is like ridiculous. When I came up, you had to do something really extraordinary or be really like historic to get a mural. Now, like, yo, listen, man. Y'all remember the young boy who like threw the egg?
Breaking news, yeah. Mike Vrabel says he would gladly chop off his own penis to win the Super Bowl. Come on, Yo, come on.
The whole point of winning the chip is to get the spot. But no, listen. Y'all remember when that young boy? When that young boy threw the eggs at like the politician over there in Australia, and that, he went viral. All right, when I went to Australia this past year, they had murals of the young boy, and multiple murals. I'm like, yo, he went viral on Twitter and got a mural. Like, we just live in a weird time, man.
Yeah. I mean,
we live in a weird time, dog.
I mean, we live in a weird time, and I think, but back to basketball, we live in a weird time, and I really think I want everybody to support War Room Sports and share War Room Sports because, these podcasts, you can't really trust these experts. And I mean, I can't remember the fat dude's name, but he was on ESPN, but he's the only one that actually said the real quote during the whole thing. He said, what? With all our intelligence, all our data on here, all our sources, we don't know what's Kawhi going to do. But you have people like Chris Broussard.
That's a fact.
Chris Broussard, who's trying to be like the golden boy. I don't know, the Yellow Rays dude. He just trying to say, he's going here. He don't know. Stephen A. Smith he honestly said he didn't know what to do. You had Jalen Rose, who wants to be Mr. Right all the time, saying, he's going to Toronto. Then I'm like, and I love Jalen Rose, but yo, man, he's bugging. He's bugging out, just like his boy Chris Webber. That's why my North Carolina beat them at the final. But
I noticed Jalen always bugged out though. I mean, you see his comparisons at the NBA draft. Like, he's always bugged out.
Listen, man.
But listen,
I mean,
there's no such thing as
Here's why.
They're the same as us. They're just dudes that went to journalism school, and they work on big networks. They ain't experts.
Listen, here's the thing, Rob. There was a journalist. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Who he worked on Wall Street. He wrote about like commodities, right? So anybody who watched Trading Places knows how you trade commodities. And he used to write about the soybean industry. And he wrote this thing. He wrote this long piece about how this season the crops will be X, Y, Z, and this, that, and the third. And it ended up being completely wrong. And he got caught. Someone recorded him. They was like, "Well, where'd you get that information from?" He said, "I made that shit up." He said, "I made that ish up," right? Ever since that story, this was years ago, I'm like, I don't believe anything journalists say, because some of them literally just make things up. And I'm not saying that any of those guys did that, because they probably had sources, but at the end of the day, like the guy said, Kawhi is a different breed. None of us know. Kawhi would have went back to San Antonio, and I probably wouldn't even been shocked, because he's just a different dude. But, it's like we put like so much faith in athletes and journalists. They're all human. They're human, so that means they lie. Like, some cats make stuff up because it's better to be first. And even, believe this or not, even when you're wrong, like Chris Broussard, all he's getting now is attention for being wrong. But his followers done went up. People just from people wanting to clown him.
But that's the thing. Like, if you notice what they do, it has to be purposeful. Like, they all give hot takes. They say something and they're real adamant about it because it gets attention. It really, like you got to keep explaining to people, like, it doesn't even matter about being right or wrong anymore. Nobody vets anything that anybody says. You just get the information and you just go with it, and then you just say, "My sources said." So that's their fallback right there. Like, well, I didn't say it.
God bless a YouTube creator. Somebody made a YouTube video one time about like what's the guy's name on ESPN, the somebody just mentioned him too. Tobias just mentioned him. The boy that always criticizes Westbrook and Derrick Rose. Cowherd. Yeah, right. So someone had made a video one time on YouTube. It was like all the times Cowherd predicted it wrong. And it's just like clips of him predicting things and being totally wrong. Yo, but the video was like 30. The video was like 30 minutes. I'm like, yo, come on. But he's one of the best at getting attention because of how crazy the stuff he says is.
Wait. I want to ask you this basketball question now. I know the league is. They say it's changed, and I looked on this old interview with Shaq and Kobe sitting face to face. And Kobe's flat just talking crap about his rings. And one thing Kobe said is that people say, that we couldn't play our style game back then like we can here, and because they play small ball, but if I feed the Shaq, he controls the pace of the game just by in the post. Now like when we have like two big men, or let's just talk about Anthony Davis, in the new age right now, and with the roster that we have, do you think we're gonna get a lot of post play or more pick and roll with Anthony Davis and LeBron? Like, what do you think? Do you think it's gonna like how will LeBron's game benefit Anthony Davis, and like how you think that's gonna pan out?
I think Anthony Davis better get his spot up skills together. Real talk.
No, I don't think so, because like his last coach, which was stupid, the thing that wasn't working there, because he was playing on perimeter, and it's like he wasn't playing as a big man anymore, and his numbers went down because of that.
Yeah, but when you play with LeBron, what you think? Did you see Chris Bosh? Did you see Kevin Love? Those dudes turned into perimeter catch and shoot guys. Anthony Davis is the most talented player he's ever played with, so there might have to be a little more deferring on a 35-year-old LeBron James's part. But at the same time, if LeBron is still out there playing at a high level, Anthony Davis is going to take a hit from everything we're used to seeing from him as well. I mean, I don't think they're going to completely just turn him into a Bosh or a Kevin Love, but it's something you got to think about. Like you said, how is LeBron's game going to benefit him? I don't necessarily think LeBron's game has ever really benefited another superstar that he's played with. It benefits the role players who can sit there and just eat off of the attention that he's getting. But remember, for them to get it right, Dwayne Wade had to, and they state this publicly all the time, Dwayne Wade had to literally say out of his mouth, okay, this is your team now. You got the ball, you got this is your team now. So I don't think LeBron, his game has ever really benefited another superstar, besides the fact that having LeBron James on your team means that you might get a ring. But as far as their game, no, Bosh wasn't the same dude that he was in Toronto. Love wasn't the same dude he was in Minnesota. Your man Kyrie couldn't even bring the ball up every play like he was used to doing.
That all that's true, and all them cats got rings with Bron. They got ain't none of them gonna get a ring without him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So they sacrifice. They
the way he benefits
shit.
you is you don't have a chance to get a ring, but your game not going to benefit from it. No, unless you Jr. Corver.
Yeah, because it's like with the strength. I mean, because I'm looking at the roster. I look at the Miami Heat roster like from 2000 to 2012, and our roster is better than their roster. I mean, they did have Chris Bosh, they had Dwayne Wade, but come on, man, Mario Chalmers or Rasheed Lewis.
Mario Chalmers was a hell of a defender at the point guard position.
Mike
Mario
Miller.
Mario Chalmers will always hit a big shot too when you need it. So I don't look at them like that. But in history, we always want to. We always want to diminish the other guys, and like the superstar didn't have much help. I mean, they do that with Allen Iverson and the Philly team. I mean, they do that with every team LeBron's ever been on. Like you had dudes that played roles that made the team what it was, and then you had the superstars that just made it easier for everybody else. All right, Rob, we got a roll.
Man. Mario Chalmers got cut in the Big Three though.
That's a game that's probably not. He's gonna be the Big Three.
Yo! Shout out to Lamar Odom, man. Hope you get better, man.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Rob. We wrap you next week, man.
All right, peace, y'all.
Peace. All right, we got one more. We got the homie Naj calling from GA. What up, Naj? What's going on, man?
What up? Y'all boys good?
What up, homie?
We good, man.
Ain't nothing, man.
We just mad that we had to wait almost a week to talk about the craziness that's the NBA right now.
Yeah, and this whole idea that they're gonna fix this real quick. First of all, I don't think there's anything to fix, and then second of all, it's like when you hire some shade tree mechanic to fix your bathroom sink and then the kitchen sink. Ownership has already tried to constrain all of this, and that created new problems. So they said we'll put the tax in.
Governorship.
Right. So they put the tax in, and then everybody. I forgot they're doing that. They put the tax in. Now everybody's scared of the luxury tax, and it became punitive to the point to where people are terrified about being over that. They had long-term deals. Now they got short-term deals, but the short-term deals push people to try and make moves. And people are letting Sam Presti slide on this, man. Look, when they called him and out the blue, he said, oh, okay, well, let me go and ask for everything. And when they said they'll think about it, that dude said, okay, I'm not telling anybody. This is not leaking. This is a one-to-one conversation. And he got that deal done. Sam Presti was happy as hell, despite all this talk about how he didn't want to bring an unhappy superstar to camp and all of that. Nah, once he got that Godfather offer, he was like, oh, I'm blowing this thing up, and we're going to do a rebuild because ain't no way in hell I'm ever going to get value like this. It's a fire sale at that point. You know what I mean? It's like when Ballmer bought the Clippers.
Didn't they say that? I know that I saw something I was reading. I consumed too much content. They were saying that the same thing kind of happened with Harden. Like, as soon as he had an idea of what was what, he was like, look, we're not even playing these games. Just go ahead and do what you got to do. Like, he doesn't believe in.
There's an aspect to that, but the bigger factor with Harden, don't forget, we were dealing with old NBA thought. Back then, the idea of Serge Ibaka, a so-called 20-year-old big man, like you're thinking, oh, okay, so you invest with the big man, this wing guy, he's expendable.
Yeah.
Now we find out years later that was a huge mistake, and Harden, was the real deal, and Serge Ibaka, who is 39 years old, was never 20. So you know what I'm saying? Like that didn't work out the way that they thought it would. But overall, Presti loved having that damn deal, despite the sad face he's making with Russ and all of this stuff they're doing now. Dude, you're not going to get a trade like that ever. So you got to kind of squeeze them. And, shout out to Kawhi and them for pulling it off. But and all this congratulations and confetti about the Clippers, are we forgetting the Clipper curse and that Kawhi has leg problems and Paul George has shoulder problems? Like, are we acting like these things?
That's what everybody keeps forgetting, that this is the Clippers. And until, they prove otherwise, still the Clippers. The Clippers been on their way for the last 20 years. I remember they had the cover of Slam magazine with like Odom and Darius Miles and Elton Brand, whoever was on that cover with them dudes. Clippers been on their way for a while. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, first Blake Griffin, and then Chris Paul joined them. So yeah,
right.
Still got
and
that curse.
Please stop saying the NBA is fixed with the draft lottery and stuff like that. And Laker fans, y'all got to get over that Chris Paul thing. The man had to step in and stop Dale Demps from taking back Paul Gasol and Lamar Odom and all those people instead of reloading the roster, getting the pick, which ended up being Anthony Davis. So David Stern was a better GM than Dale Demps. And it just was what it was, man. Like, they had to stop the team from destroying itself, because that would have been a horrible trade. That wouldn't have been a rebuild. And, who knows what they would be now. And they still got return on investment with Anthony years and years later. So that part is crazy as hell to me, bro. But I like the Lakers, man. I think LeBron probably gets close to leading the league in assists, and we may see an Anthony Davis MVP season. The Utah reload kind of surprised me. Denver got better, which was surprising, but this offseason
please don't let Anthony Davis win the MVP, man.
Bro, you think Bron ain't gonna try to force feed him to make it happen?
And he might. And he already force fed him his number, but I just don't want to hear because that's when. And my, I've always been a Michael Jordan fan, but I get tired of the conversation. Mike, LeBron, I can hear the Michael Jordan stands now. Mike ain't never been on no team where somebody else was the MVP of the league. I don't got time for this, man. I really like.
But we do have to remember that
came up in
Kobe
the same
stands,
again.
Mike fans, and Iverson stands are not to be reasoned with, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it ain't that argument, they'll come up with another one, bro. Like it is what it is on that film. Like,
for them, if Anthony Davis wins MVP, that like completely takes LeBron out of the top 5 in the world.
You can't argue with any, like, when it comes to Mike. To me, it's Mike, Kobe, and LeBron. They're fans. I don't even engage with them. Let's try to negotiate with a terrorist.
Exactly. Iverson too, man. Much as I love AI, man. Woo! You get in that barbershop, get a good AI conversation going. You're in trouble. If you make any sense, logic, or reason, you're in trouble. So you just might as well back out and let them have it.
And then Naz, like the farther you get from them being in the league, the more their legacy grows with these people. And I was a big AI stan. I'm a Sixers fan, but at this point, the team he went to the finals with, like, they know better than middle school players. Like, it's gotten to that point. It's like B. Austin when he's talking about a player that's big and tall, like. Every week you hear him talk about him, his height is going to go up, and his height going to go up by like 3 inches, and his weight going to go up by like 15 pounds. Like right now, he might have Sack at 8'9", 640 pounds. But yeah, that's how it is. At this point, Iverson took a bunch of middle schoolers to the finals. and that's the only reason he didn't.
All right. Hall of
he was
Famer
tired of dragging these
Mutombo,
12-year-olds.
all-time defensive rating team that he was on. Like, that team was
Right.
perfect defensively, man. And, you know,
Defensive
it was
year,
what it was. They took it
man
as far
of
as
the
they
year,
could go.
coach of the year.
But
Like
he did it
people.
all, right?
It's a good team.
That's how the game goes, man.
They ran into an all-time team. Period.
Right. And the Lakers dodged the bullet, too, man, because that whole – Kawhi was going to play off the ball and be LeBron's little brother? Like, in what scenario does that work out? And why would you spend cap space on Kawhi if you're not going to use him to the highest, you know what I mean, highest point of what he can do? So it made no sense anyway. So it's better that it worked out this way, that they could fill out that roster. So, yeah, I don't get that. You guys, I'm surprised about Jimmy. I still can't believe Jimmy did that. Jimmy Hollywood now wants to play in Miami, didn't resign in Philly. I'm disappointed, dog.
Because he's impressed with how they treated Dwayne Wade during his retirement tour. What? Come on, Jimmy. Like, seriously? The move to me, it tells you, I don't know, it just makes you, I mean, unless he's that good and he was thinking that the Sixers was holding us back from knowing what he really is. Other than that, like, the way he talks, like, this didn't line up with the way that he talks. You know what I'm saying? It's all about winning this and that. Now, you know, if they end up pulling off a deal and they get Westbrook, you know, they might be formidable in the East, but they're going to have to give up so much to get him with the contract that he has. Like, yeah, I didn't really understand it. And if you were, like, on his social media, you kind of knew before they announced it that he was going to do it, because he was just openly talking to Dwayne Wade, like, yeah, when once I get down there, once I get a contract done, we could do this and do that. I'm like, damn, he just said that? Like, he ain't got no Kawhi Leonard in him. Like, he like, whoever saw my Twitter today know where I'm going. But yeah, that was a weird move for me.
Made no sense. I know I got to get out of here. I know y'all got short time, but just to end it, man, the other thing, okay, so-called journalists, we really need to say TV personalities, because this is not journalism for the most part. So most folks don't know the difference between a leak and a source. Not knocking them, just saying it's hard to distinguish between the two. But if you got a show tomorrow at 3 p.m. and you know you need something, some little meat, you calling agents, you calling friends of agents, you calling the whole basketball underground circuit, and man, you're gonna roll with the best story you got. Because why?
Right. And most
you
of
got
them
a
are telling you what
news
they
cycle.
think, not what they know. They're giving you their opinion. I think this is the best deal.
Yeah.
But you know what, though,
so a lot of times you got agents manipulating and sourcing out stuff that they want to be said, and framing things in a way that they want it to be framed. Because when it comes down to it, when the deal is for real, as we seen with Preston, we ain't hear a mumbling word about that Paul George thing. Why? Because you ain't leaking nothing about that. You need that, man. He was hitting refresh like we hit refresh on Nike when we trying to get something new that just came out. Like Sam Preston wasn't letting nothing out. Biggest deal of the summer, we ain't hear a word.
Source makes you sound more important than leak. My sources said, you gotta let people know I got numbers in my Rolodex. And Stephen A. Smith won't ever let us forget. And he probably got a bunch of numbers from cats that left the league in the 90s, but he's still gonna roll with that. All right, guys, man,
and
as
people's
usual.
cousins, uncles, and nephews too.
Right,
That's the other part. Source sounds way more dressed up than saying, "Yeah, man, his nephew told me this, and I cashed after him a Honda." You know what I mean? Sound a lot different. But yeah, y'all hold it down,
our journey, man. At these little conferences we go to, we met a lot of people that everybody would know, and we got their numbers, but ain't nobody telling us nothing because they don't know nothing.
Exactly.
Like we don't be on here fronting like, yeah, our sources told us. Like, ain't nobody tell you nothing.
But they got a show to do tomorrow, big dog. That's the way it goes.
No doubt.
But y'all hold it down, man.
All right, man. Thanks for your call as usual, man. We wrap to you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, man. My sources said that Mario was on the grind about to get skipped. That's what sources told me.
Man, I think we should just start making some official looking like memes. Just say our sources say, and just make up complete BS. Like what's the site that just makes up fake ass quotes? I'll be dying every time I read one. It's funny
yeah,
they make up fake quotes. Their page is called Hang Time or something.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to whoever y'all are. I think it's called Hang Time or Clutch Time or something. But I know their page is make up quotes.
People
Definitely,
read them and go reporting
and they be sharing them.
And don't even be realizing how outlandish it sounds. Like, this dude a coward. He wouldn't even say nothing like this out loud. Like, you got to consider the source sometimes. Like, this coward ain't gonna say nothing.
Dog,
like that.
It's like
now they put out some Stephen Jackson quotes.
It was real.
You might have to think like, all right, this could be real.
Yo, when people send you an article like, people this, and it's an Onion article.
Yo, it's crazy the world that we live in, man. Because you can just do that stuff, and there's no consequences for it. Like, they get more attention for it. So yeah, we're about to start telling y'all what our sources.
It's so crazy because I've literally read headlines and thought one thing, and then read the article, and it says nothing of what the headline says.
Yeah, and even like after everything that happens, like all of these stories start to come out. It's like people making stuff up. Like 2 days ago, y'all had no clue that Paul George asked to be traded and he was going to get traded. Now all the stories, Paul George and Russell Westbrook didn't get along and this and that. Meanwhile, these two dudes on social media still yucking it up. Like, I love you, Brody. I love you, Brody. Like, but we're just making up stories over here because people believe them. And, people want that narrative to continue about Russ. Nobody wants to play with Russ. Dude signed with Russ. He just saw a better opportunity. He wanted to go home. He didn't really want to be in OKC. He just didn't want to, I think he didn't want to be on the LeBron legacy schedule. And he probably never even thought about the Clippers, especially by himself. But he's like, whoa, Kawhi going and he want me to go? Bet. Let's go home. So that was crazy, though, how we reading all these stories, how him and Westbrook was beefing. But if you look at their Twitter feeds, like they just making gay love on the internet. So it's hilarious, man. So yeah, what you gonna do? I mean, we can just mention something real quick. I definitely need to mention this.
Yeah.
Your man Lamar Odom is after one game, and I think he scored like 2 points. He's been deactivated for the season for the big three. But it's not just Lamar. Everybody, he's just the biggest name because of the problems he had. But Jermaine O'Neal, Bonzi Wells, and Baron Davis as well were deactivated. They said for competitive reasons, not due to any off-court issues. That's crazy because I thought Baron Davis was going to be a terror in this league. Yeah. But they said he basically his representation just said he not ready for a comeback. The increased level of competition, he just wasn't ready for it. Like, you think because you used to play at a high level that you're ready, and then they went in there and realized that the big three.
Yo, you know who is ready for it? You know who is ready for it? Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson out there looking like his name Kobe Bryant James. Like, he all three of them. Like, he out there cooking. He is cooking.
Joe always had game. I always thought that
when
contract.
When did he retire? It's kind of a cheat code though, because he retired not too long ago, didn't he? Like, when did he retire?
Right. But even when he retired though, he wasn't really getting minutes like that in the league anymore, and it's weird.
Yeah, but he still was in shape though.
Show you, like, I still got it, cuz. I still got it. Yeah. So Joe always was like that though. He was a great isolation player. Nobody could really guard him. He just didn't. Was he one of the dudes like his mentality just wasn't straight up dog? Because there were some times like Joe get the ball, he gonna ISO you up, he gonna embarrass you. But then he'll come back down and then he giving that thing to somebody else. He ain't had that just straight up Uzi pit bull in him. Yeah. That probably would have done. He probably would have done him some good. He type of game.
Yeah, he didn't have a big Uzi. He was like a little Uzi, nice vertical. Yeah. Never mind. Don't even
ask how. Listen, some quick birthday shout outs, man, and then we can go right back into these NBA topics because we still got a lot to talk about and a little bit of time left. So we want to give a birthday shout out to former Washington professional football team tight end Chris Cooley. He turns 37 years old. Andre Johnson, Joe Johnson's twin brother. That's not true, but look at them and look at their names.
How is it possible for them to resemble that strong with those names and not be related?
It's crazy. The shout out to Andre Johnson. He's 38. Rod the God Strickland, the point guard. He's 53 years old. And shout out to Leon Spinks, former heavyweight champion Leon Spinks. Well, still ain't got no teeth.
Yo,
he fixed it?
Yo, shout out to PJ. I remember we was young boys. And this is how much of an NBA history. We used to tape games on a VHS tape, and there was a game back when, Magic Johnson has literally gotten a chance to do everything in the NBA. But there was a time he was commentating, and he was going off about Strickland. He said Rod Strickland is the best guard in the NBA to make things happen. And I'm like, what kind of analyst is that? Like, what does that even mean?
Magic was terrible.
Magic got a chance to be a commentator. He got a talk show. He got part ownership of a team. He got a chance to be a coach. He got to come back. He got to be president of a team. Like,
but think about
I'm telling you, boy,
besides playing, Magic was terrible at everything basketball related. He was great as a player and great as a businessman.
Everything.
But everything else basketball related, coaching.
I forgot the in-studio gig. Remember he had an in-studio gig with Bill Simmons?
Studio host. Magic was terrible at all of that stuff.
Yo, shout out to Magic for keep trying though. Like,
into ownership.
He gets a chance to do everything. He get a chance to do everything. Shout out to him for keep trying. Like, he gonna find a way to get him a basketball check that's not related to playing though.
That's the thing though. The fact that he's Magic and he's used the fact that he's Magic to take him along. He's gotten any basketball gig that he's wanted because people just assume he's Magic. So he got to know what he's doing, and then he keeps proving that he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's Magic. If he wants to come back and get another gig, because he's Magic.
And real quick though, Casey Mack says Joe Johnson, Andre Johnson are actually born in the same year, so his opinion is Papa was a Rolling Stone.
So they what they call them? Project twins, ghetto twins, something like that.
Yeah.
Your pop had he knock up 2 chicks in the same year. He having 2 kids.
Yo.
All right.
Yo.
So let's
let's
get back into this.
Talk?
Yeah, let's get back into that real quick before we do. Y'all can check out the website warroomsports.com. Call in if you want to rap to us about some NBA stuff. We got a few minutes left. You can do that on the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline 323-410-0012. Just press 1 when prompted. If you already listen from your phone, press 1 if you want to talk. And if you've already hollered at us and for some reason want to get back, you're going to have to hang up and then come on and press 1 again because
we ain't got that much time to take more calls. Though, but with that being said, the NBA Rap is definitely brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. If you have a Wix site, stop. Wix sites are only built for ladies of the evening. But with that being said, if you want a custom-built website, what you got to do is go to Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. You can get a website at digitalextremetech.com, or you can call 272054203. Tell them you heard about it on the War Room and get you a custom-built website. Salute to Digital Extreme Tech for their support of the War Room. But it is time to talk about this thing of ours.
You deserve more for your business. You deserve more.
This Booty, a.k.a. Russell Westbrook, supposedly wants out of OKC now. I like how they're framing it, though. They're not saying wanting out. They're saying he's open to being moved.
He welcomes
it. He welcomes the opportunity to play somewhere else.
Because we trash now.
They say they want him to still be beloved in that city, which he will anyway, because he signed back when he didn't have to. But where?
Jim, I even saw a report that said he wanted out before Paul George even.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that. So my question is, I have 2 questions actually. Where do you think he will go, and where do you think he should go?
All right. Let's start it off general and broad. Definitely should go east. The West is a gauntlet. We had the East have some teams that were growing last season. If he can get somewhere, he would probably help make somebody one of those team names that you can say with Milwaukee and Philadelphia if he goes east. For you big market cats, Jimmy, like yourself, Chicago could be a good move. Maybe get their name back up a little bit. Miami, he'd be down there teamed up with Jimmy Butler. That's another one of those things where it's two players that kind of need the ball. Jimmy kind of showed you that he's better with the ball, but didn't necessarily need the ball to be effective. So that could possibly work as well. New York, for the fact that they got burned again in this whole free agency thing. 2 months ago, they were cocky. They knew they were getting Zion, KD, and Kyrie. They ended up with 3 power forwards that you could pay the mid-level exception to. There's a lot of places. Now I'm hearing Detroit. You could put him with Blake and Drummond, and that could be a team that could possibly challenge for the East, barring Blake Griffin doesn't be Blake Griffin and get hurt and miss important games of the season. So those are the places he could go. The East is a place he should go. I say the best fit for him probably would be that Detroit situation. So with the question you're asking, I'm going to tell you my answer by saying this is probably what I don't want to see as a Sixer fan. So that's probably the best place. I don't want to see him go to Detroit. That would be a little bit scary for
me. Okay. It's interesting.
New York,
I saw you and Hank.
We get to see Westbrook.
I saw you
more.
and Hank having a debate in the group chat with because Hank was like, I want to see him go to Detroit. He could be tested. He was like, I don't want no test.
I don't need no test. Kawhi just won a chip with Joel Embiid being sick for 2 or 3 games. Clay having a torn knee. KD having a torn Achilles. I don't need no test. I'm out of school. I don't need no test. Get us the easiest road possible.
Yeah,
ain't about all.
Because in a couple of years, nobody remembers all that nonsense anyway.
Right. He beat the Sixers. They beat the Bucks, and they beat the Golden State Warriors. There's gonna be some hating ass basketball purists, but you have to know, like, man, nobody's trying to hit it.
Pretty much. So my question is, do you think he'll be moved before the season starts, or do you think there's something that's going to happen in the course of the season?
You kind of think at this point that it could happen before the season starts just because the noise has started so early and they have time to do it. I haven't looked enough into it because, sometimes there's benefits to certain teams for waiting until the season starts, waiting for the deadline and stuff like that. I haven't gone deep enough into it to see if there were any benefits like that. So without any of that knowledge in mind, I would think that it would happen prior to the season starting, which would allow OKC even more time to be garbage and have a great pick of their own in addition to, all of the picks that they got from the Paul George trade moving forward. So, get rid of Brody now. Don't even sniff for a playoff spot. Essentially, tank. Get you a pick somewhere in the top 5, top 10, along with, the pick that they've given up. So, it's time to rebuild. Destroy and rebuild.
Okay. Speaking of that, let's talk about the Lakers now.
That's
my man is scheduled to make at the end of his last year that contract something ridiculous, like $45 million.
45, 47, something crazy like that. Yeah.
Something ridiculous. Let's talk about the Lakers, though. Right?
Yes, sir.
So the Lakers made a bunch of roster moves. We talked about it a little bit earlier in terms of adding Boogie, adding a couple veterans there. With Kuzma, AD, and LeBron being the only people in place, they kind of filled the roster out. And some people are saying that this is the best lineup. I've heard this, that LeBron has ever played with. I just having not really a debate because I wasn't arguing it. I was reading it because I was like, I got to think, I put some to that because I got to see who was on that Miami team. I don't remember. I just remember the big three.
Right. Well,
and I remember Mike
for me,
Miller and Ray Allen.
Because I've been talking about the potential of that Boogie move for just $3.5 million. That move has so much potential. So of course, they added Boogie. Rondo's back. You got Alex Caruso. You got Kuzma. You got Danny Green. You got KCP. They got JaVale McGee back in the flow. Quinn Cook. They got Elmer Fudd. Jared Dudley. And then, a couple of young guys to fill out the roster, and Avery Bradley. So he's another one that made me think, like, defensively, they have some great individual defenders. If they could get the chemistry and play, these guys can make them play great team defense. The Lakers can be formidable on both sides of the court. So I really like what they did, considering the fact that Kawhi and his quietness kind of burned the Lakers. Like we talked about earlier, like they sat around waiting for dude, and all of the free agents were getting snatched off the board. So I give them a very good grade for being able to get some good players from what was left, because there were some people in here that people didn't even think about because you looked at them on an individual basis, like, oh, dude's not that good. But then when you pair him with the other people on the team, you're like, that's a pretty good pickup for what they're going to do. JaVale McGee is a pretty good, to get him back, that's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Rondo, depending on which Rondo you're going to get, Avery Bradley is a great pickup. You know what I'm saying? 2 years ago, people were looking at him as a burgeoning star. I don't know if that's going to happen, but he's definitely a solid pickup.
Yeah, but, I do. And Rondo, last time that Rondo, AD, and Boogie played together, they were the playoff team. They were
the playoffs. Yeah. For the first time.
But anyway, I think it'll be interesting, man. There's a lot of pressure on Vogel now. I kind of prefer this as well. I'm not going to front and say I didn't want Kawhi. I wanted Kawhi to go just to piss people off, because the NBA thrives on bad guys. But it doesn't matter. You're still a bad guy just having LeBron. But now, Paul George has become somewhat of a bad guy, because he went from being a hero to a bad guy because he it's kind of like the throw pity party in a smaller market. He chose a smaller market. They were like, oh, look at him, he's a hero. He's willing to play this
hero,
and he basically told FOH. So now he's a bad guy. But
thanks for the money.
But you mentioned how good the team could be on defense, right? So speaking of that, all the other people are saying, and this is hashtag sources, that LeBron is going to start at point guard this season. First of all, do you think there's any truth to that? And second of all, how is that going to work out on defense?
I think there is truth to it. I think they're trying to – because LeBron plays – he's a de facto point guard on all of his teams anyway. I think they're just kind of making it official and letting you know that they're doing everything to somehow space himself and Anthony Davis on the floor. But, yeah, defensively, I don't know about that. Because people had those questions about Ben Simmons. But Ben Simmons has proven, but he has young legs too. He's kind of proven he can stay with some of these smaller point guards when he's put on them. LeBron, he's basically done with defense. You're in your 17th year. Don't nobody do that no more. And they don't. I'm not gonna say they don't need him to play. They definitely need him to play defense, but they don't expect it. They're probably not overly encouraging it because they need him to be fresh in other facets of the game and throughout the whole season. So they're not going to want him to dog himself defensively. So that's why these reports are crazy to me unless they're just gonna like name him the official point guard, but then on the defensive side of the ball, he's gonna guard somebody else. But that still leaves holes because if you're starting him at the point guard, you're gonna have a really big lineup. You'll have probably Danny Green in the lineup, who you can probably toss him on a point guard. But now who's guarding the shooting guard? Because it ain't Kuzma, it ain't really LeBron. So I think making him the point guard and not having an actual point guard on the floor, because a lot of teams do that. LeBron will run the point guard, but there'll be an actual point guard on the floor to guard other point guards and all that kind of stuff. I think this could hurt them a little bit defensively.
Yeah, and that was my point. Like, everything sounds cool on offense. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with people, and I'm like, y'all, like, the offensive are cool, but no one talks about the defensive part of that. Like,
there's another facet to this game.
Like, yeah. Yeah, man. So that's my whole thing. Like, what does that mean defensively? So, yeah, man. So we'll see. I mean, everybody's basically pegging Lakers and Clippers of being in the Western Conference Finals. And I know that me and you already talked a little bit about how that's what we see,
Scott, he asked where Tyson Chandler went. I believe Tyson Chandler is still on the market. He's kind of being eyed by Houston right now. I wonder if that's just depth or they got something in the works that's going to be getting Capella up out of there. But people are not going to really want to take that contract on either. But we shall see. But, yeah, he's still out there.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
All right, so
man. So we talked about the Lakers and everything, man. It's almost time for us to get out of here. But before we get out of here, I want to ask you one quick thing, right? So I told you my sleeper team is the Pelicans or whatever. And when you look in the Eastern Conference, right? So the Sixers right now is the Sixers and will be kind of the Sixers and Bucks. Are there any teams out east that you think will be surprising next season outside of the Sixers and Bucks? Or should we be locked in them right now for the Western Conference Finals?
You know me, I'm never a lock-in type guy. I still want to say, like, I want to mention Boston. I don't think they are what they were. You lose Kyrie and Horford, and you bring in like another Kyrie. That's another thing. People talk about Kemba as if he's different somehow from Kyrie. Kemba's a dribbling dude. Kemba's a gunning dude. People just happen to like him because I guess he doesn't have the same personality as a Kyrie Irving. But I don't really see that as an upgrade for them. It all depends on what the youngsters do. They crowned the dude last year. Maybe it's finally his time. Tatum. So they're the iffy team for me. They were the team that was supposed to run off like and dominate the East for the next 8 years. Now we're talking about can they get back in the mix? It depends on these young players that we touted before.
They got Taco Fall, my man Red Sleeve Rowe. So we'll see. But I was asking you that question because James, or it depends on how you can. I heard people say Enos and some people say Ennis, but however you want to pronounce it. But if you say Ennis, I'll say pause. But anyway, he said Kawhi is gone, so we're going to walk to the finals in the East. So,
yeah.
So I just want to know if you felt that or whatever, like,
That doesn't mean the Sixers are done. That just mean they're done. You got backups talking smack. That doesn't mean they're done. Like, he's the dude. Like, you're not even required. Like, first of all, you can't cash that check. You're not even required to cash that check. You're not even the dude they asked to drive that check to the bank. So why are you talking like this? And I like him. I like what he gave us on the bench. Come on. And that is our
like when you were a young boy, when you go. It's like a young boy when you go to run your cousin way. He'd be like, my cousin will knock you out. He got you in the middle of something. Mm-hmm. You had no idea what's going on.
Right.
Like, you pull up. I'm going to knock who? Yeah, I ain't got nothing to do with it.
You pull up, somebody got their shirt off ready to rumble you. Like, I came to play football, my dude. We out of here,
time to get out of here, man. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, the chat, all the calls we called and got through. We appreciate those we can get to. We apologize to the next week, live or on demand, as we catch you up on everything happening around the world of sports. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the next week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Catch everything we do, all of our social media links, our blogs, websites, podcasts, everything at the hub, which is warroomsports.com. Pick up my book at sportsthebook.com or at the hub of warroomsports.com. So until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top.
My young boys in the hood used to try to type you as they say that.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay, warroomsports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip-hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy. DJ, Shot Back, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.